Hi, Michael Smith here in the Peavey Studios with the new VYPYR Pro amplifier. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the Deep Edit input menu. And we get to the input menu by pressing and holding the Delay Reverb Edit button, which takes us to the Deep Edit menu. Then I press the input control. And in the beginning of this menu, I've got the bright on and off, as well as the gate as the type of gate. So I can turn with the outer encoder my bright on and off, and with the inner encoder I've got my different types of gates. And for this setting I've got a custom output gate, and that's because I'm using a fairly high gain amplifier, and there's some built-in kind of hiss with that amp. The controls we have here on the parameters, first of all, we've got the volume pedal insert, and this relates to the volume pedal on the VYPYR Pro. Do I want that pedal to be at the guitar input or the amp output? And that's just two ways of thinking, but most of the time that would be at the beginning of your signal chain on the floor pedal, and you would use it just like you'd use a volume knob on a guitar. So you'd use it for swells or whatnot. So all of your delays would be after that point in time. If I change it to guitar or the amp output setting, then it's going to basically be a master volume for the entire amplifier. So anything that I play, including any delay trails or anything, will be controlled by that pedal. So just two different ways of having that volume pedal. Then I've got a wah intensity control. I can control it from 0 to 127, and so I can change the way my wah pedal sounds at the peak based on how intense it is. And that's an interesting, a very interesting feature, because I could actually use the other expression pedal if I wanted to control the wah intensity. So I could have two different sounding wahs on the same patch. If I wanted a different wah pedal for the solo versus the rhythm, and I was using this wah pedal, then I could use the other pedal to control its intensity. So I could actually have two different settings, and actually anywhere in between, depending on where I set the range. Then I've got my 3 noise gate controls, and I've got 3 noise gates. I've got, of course, I can turn it off if I want to, so I can have nothing, which a lot of people that use a lot of the clean tones would actually prefer sometimes. Then I've got a global input gate. Now this gate would be used if I had a guitar that I use most of the time that produced noise, and I use it on almost everything. I would use that gate to control the noise on that guitar, and any preset that I use the global input gate would share the settings. So if I change the settings for one preset, that any other preset that uses the global input gate will then also be changed automatically. So that's a really handy feature. And I've also got the custom input gate. So if I'm using multiple guitars and I'm using the same guitars on the same presets when I play, then I would actually be able to change with each preset the settings. So anytime you use the custom input gate, it's going to be specific to that preset. And then I also have a custom output gate, which also is custom or specific to each preset. And that's what I was using here, because the custom output gate would primarily be used if you were using an amp that was higher gain that produced some hiss, which is what I have here. So you'll notice when I turn down the attenuation, you hear the noise come back a little bit. My 3 controls are threshold, decay, and attenuation. Now the threshold determines how hard do I have to play before the gate releases. The higher that setting, let me turn the noise down here. The higher that setting, the louder I have to play before the gate turns off. So if I'm playing very softly, because I have it all the way turned up, it's not going to release all the way. So you can hear it. That would be for extreme cases. So I'm going to turn that back down to a more usable level here. And then the custom output decay. Now the decay in a noise gate determines how long before the noise gate clamps back down. So if it's very noisy, I want it to clamp very quickly. It's a custom gate, so you would set it to that preset to accomplish the goal you need for that preset. And then the attenuation is going to be different depending on how much noise there is. Now this is more or less a medium gain amplifier. So you'll notice the louder I turn it up, the more attenuation, the less noise. And you're going to want that set as low as possible to still accomplish the noise reduction that you need. You don't want a lot of noise, but you also don't want it to totally influence the dynamics of your playing. And with noise gates, it's a very fine line between being effective in reducing the noise and also getting in the way of what you're playing. If you play with fingers, you don't want, if you're playing softly with especially finger style, you don't want the gate to be clamping down on your playing. So you're going to want to set it to where it's least intrusive in how you're playing. And it just takes some getting used to and some trial and error to accomplish it the way you need it. And that is the input menu on the VYPYR Pro. So next up, we'll do the output menu. This is Michael Smith here at the Peavey Studios.